Right now, everyone is talking about AI and whether or not it's going to ruin the music industry. The problem is that they're not talking about the most important aspect of AI when it comes to music. And we're going to share that with you today. All right, so while everyone is talking about AI destroying the music industry and taking the life and the humanity and the human element and the human spirit out of music, the real issue when it comes to specifically licensing your music comes down to who owns the copyright. And if AI is creating the song now, where is that copyright? So, Jody, I'm going to throw this over to you as a music supervisor and as a music library owner. How excited are you to start adding AI songs into your catalog, and how excited are you to start licensing AI-generated music for the shows that you're working on?
Yeah, I just can't see that happening. It would be a logistics nightmare for me to have to clear music that was created by AI. Who would I go to clear it? Who owns the rights? If you created it solely by AI, you're not the creator. And if you claim to be, I wouldn't trust it. It's like, it's to me, it's like you're tracing, you're creating something that wasn't really created by you. So I have to protect my client and make sure that the music I license is trackable and traceable to a creator who created that piece of copyright. And AI creates, nobody owns the copyright to it. I think that's the issue, is that nobody owns the copyright to anything created by AI.
Well, I think the other issue that comes up with that too, that we're seeing kind of behind the scenes, is that no one on the rights side wants to be the first person who has their name forever attached to a lawsuit. Friedman versus AI from 2025, where, it became this big issue. No supervisor that I know, no sync agent, no music library that I know wants to get involved in that, because there are too many variables when it comes to the ownership of that intellectual property.
Yeah, 100%. And no production company is going to want to take that chance either. Netflix, or whether it's Boone Murray or ABC or CBS, they're not going to want to include AI music in their projects, because that's going to present a slew of copyright issues for them. And they have whole legal teams, and they're going to tell them, no, don't do that. So I think I understand the fear that people have, like it might take over people composing music, but I don't think that's going to happen personally. But just from the copyright perspective and the clearance perspective, I just don't see it working. It's not possible to secure the rights to a piece of music created by AI. So why would we put that in our projects as supervisors?
We already see that, though, with projects that are created with loops that come from various sources, where supervisors will not actually even touch those songs, simply because those loops, they can't trace where those loops are coming from, where those samples are coming from. So they don't actually know who owns those.
Yeah, I mean, it's a thing for people who use Splice and other, pre-built loops that everybody has access to. It's the same kind of thinking. Like, who do you go to clear that? If you're a producer and you're using a vocal sample that you got from Splice, and another producer is using that same vocal sample, well, even if you're interpolating it, I don't want to use it in my project, because I don't want to risk you raising your hand saying, hey, I gave that to you, instead of, Bill, who gave it to me. So, the same thing could happen with AI. If you go into a system and you create music with that AI system, who's to say that AI system is not going to create something similar for somebody else? That's a pretty risky endeavor. So I wouldn't want to touch it.
Right. So I've actually experimented. I know a lot of people have probably been experimenting with various AI things. I've experimented with ChatGPT to give me some responses based on the prompts that I've given it. And I gave it one prompt. And then I believe actually you gave it, I think we were doing something together, and you gave it a similar prompt. We gave it some of the same information. And what it spit out was almost identical, which was really quite fascinating.
Yeah, if you give it the same prompts or similar prompts, it's not going to have much difference between what it's spitting out to you. So, yeah, I think that I just don't see it working. I get the fear when every time there's a new change, a big change in media. When samples came into play, when people no longer had to use real instruments on their recordings. I feel like there's a community of composers and orchestrators and arrangers that were so scared that it was going to eliminate their jobs. And it didn't. If anything, it actually increased workflow for them because it separated them from the MIDI and the samples and the plugins. So I think AI is going to do the same. We might see some YouTube content creators trying to use AI music, but there's no music supervisors on their projects for a reason. It's their own network. They can use whatever music they want to use as long as YouTube doesn't flag it. That will be interesting to see what YouTube does with people using AI music in their content, if they'll flag it somehow and be able to tell that it's AI created, because YouTube has that content ID system. It can scan audio, can scan the fingerprint. So I imagine they're going to want to regulate it too somehow. So I'm curious to see how that plays out.
Yeah. And so when it comes to ultimately the idea of will it ruin the music industry, that's the fear. I mean, that's what I just keep seeing. In fact, right before we started recording this, I got a bunch of emails showing up in my inbox about AI music and it ruining everything. But to me, it always goes back to the demand, right? Who are the end users? Are the end users going to be demanding this? And I think of it like this. We all know that airplanes take off and land themselves. I've asked this in various live events, and I've asked who here wants to get on an airplane that does not have a pilot, and 0 hands went up. And then I asked the same question relating to self-driving cars. Those are actually pretty cool. They're kind of fun, right? You just barely touch the steering wheel and it'll take you where you want to go. But you're still in control. But who wants to get into a car with their family and their kids and, haul down the highway at 70 miles an hour in a vehicle that has no steering wheel, gas, or brake pedal? And I asked that question again, and 0 hands go up. And I believe it comes back down to the idea of, as humans, with the human experience, we want art that's created by humans too. I don't think too many people want to watch a film or a TV show that the script was written by AI and the characters were all generated by AI, right? And it was directed and filmed and created virtually through AI, and the music is AI. No one wants that. Consumers don't want that, right? So, but if we look beyond even that aspect, do you want to go to a concert where the performer is a hologram, or the performer is a robot jumping around on stage with a guitar, creating fake music? And again, I think the human experience does not want that. The human experience wants to have real performers truly connecting with them on a human level. So while AI is a great assistant, so to speak, I don't believe for a second that the end users, the consumers, the music listeners, the music supervisors, libraries, etc., as you said, big production companies like Netflix and Boone and Murray and whatnot, they don't want AI music.
We don't. And the unfortunate thing is it's here. So there are going to be composers and producers that are going to use it and try to sneak it into projects, just like with Splice and, the sample packets that came out. That was probably 5 years ago now. Eventually it's going to reveal itself. Somebody's going to get on a project. Somebody's going to submit a piece of AI music, and they're going to claim it as 100% original, and it's going to sneak into the project. And somebody else is going to do the same thing. You're going to have 2 tracks that are very similar, and it's going to reveal itself. So, our job is to do what we can. And this is also why we only want to work with trusted professionals and not go to the amateur producers that are just grabbing stuff online and putting stuff together. We work with trusted sync agents, trusted libraries, and other professionals that we built relationships with for a long time now. And this is part of the reason, because everything's so accessible now. And to know that people are abiding by the rules and understand music clearance and these concerns that we're talking about today, that's insanely important in what we do.
Awesome. All right, so there you have it. Will AI ruin the music industry? I don't believe so. And it definitely will not be ruining the sync industry, at least anytime soon. But it will be interesting to see who that first big lawsuit is and how that comes about. And hopefully it is not you.
Yes, so if you don't understand some of the terms we were using today about music licensing and clearance, or you're just new to sync licensing, you'll want to go to elitemusiccoaching.com/get started. You can download this book, or you can go over to Amazon, do a quick search for Michael Elsner, Jody Friedman license your songs to film, TV, and ads.